I'm sure plenty of you out there know Frankenstein because you've seen the movies, and I'm sure there are some of y'all who've even read the original novel. However, did you know that there is a manga adaptation for Frankenstein created by Junji Ito, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, horror mangaka of all time? I sure didn't. And now that I've read it, I want to talk about Junji Ito's Frankenstein, why it's so good, and why you should read it for this spooky season. But before we do that, let's just take a quick history lesson about this franchise, just for a second. Frankenstein, the Modern Prometheus, is a novel written by Mary Shelley in the early 1800s. And this tale of a quirky scientist obsessed with playing God had its detractors when it first came out, while some critics even believed a woman wasn't even capable of such creativity. Thankfully today, this novel is highly regarded as one of the greatest and most influential stories of all time. You may wonder, as popular as Frankenstein is, what true value could a manga bring to this franchise? Well, a lot more than Dr. Ho's neck comforter, that I can tell you. Besides, this is Junji Ito we're talking about, and his unique approach to storytelling in the horror genre is second to none. That's because he knows that the truly terrifying horror is the type that lingers in your mind. That's because he utilizes that slow, creeping unease where it takes several panels and even pages for that horror to unfurl, and that's where the true horror really lies, and it's anticipation, and we see it no better than in the monster's creation scene. Ito slowly builds that suspense while Victor Frankenstein's working continuously on this project, and it builds and builds and builds through panels until boom! We see the creature start to wake up, and we see its face. The pale, stretched skin, the bulging eyes, the unnatural proportions. It's alive! Moments after the creation, we see Victor Frankenstein's face. It's wide and bloodshot eyes, where he's just absolutely shocked at what he hath wrought. I love how Ito portrays human horror, because it really does mirror how the reader feels when they're reading this thing. I mean, it's just so intense, and it's so terrifying when you see it, and that's exactly why you're able to feel that. Junji Ito's Frankenstein is an impressive adaptation to the original novel because it keeps all the important things that make this book so good while trimming out the less ideal parts of it. If you haven't read Frankenstein, then you should know that this novel is what we like to call an epistolary, which is basically a story that is told in the form of different letters back and forth to characters. I remember reading this in high school, and boy, was it a daunting task. Maintaining that kind of story in a manga format just wouldn't really work because you're not utilizing the thing that manga is really well known for, the visuals. So you have to change the story a bit to account for the visuals that you can now show when describing the story, and Ito does this masterfully. He condenses a lot of the letters, the monologues, the inner reflections throughout this novel, and basically substitutes that for truly grotesque and horrifying visuals. The original novel doesn't really have the luxury to show you just how scary the situation is. They have to use these philosophical, more implied horror techniques to try to get you to visualize yourself how scary the situation is. With Junji Ito's version, you don't need any of that. It's very scary because you see it for yourself, just how scary the creature is. You see just how horrified the people are. You see how dark and grotesque this world really is. And that's really the true beauty of why Junji Ito's Frankenstein is so well done, and why Ito-san is just so well equipped for this kind of adaptation. I mean, there's so many grotesque visuals, so many close-ups, so many dramatic visuals that will just get your mind so warped. I'm telling you, it's insane. It all adds up to the uneasiness that you will feel when you're reading this story. That's why this manga is such a different vibe from the original novel, because you don't need those implied horror tricks. You already had them with what your eyes see. What you see is going to be very dark. It's going to be very direct, and it's going to be very visceral. Junji Ito won his first Eisner Award back in 2019 for this adaptation, which is a long time coming, and it's a very big deal. And that's because the Eisner Award is like an equivalent to your Oscars when it comes to comic books. It's the top of the top. And he's been knocking on the door with Uzumaki for years at this point. And I know since then, he has won his second Eisner Award for Remina. Look, if you love horror, you love to be scared, you love the thrill of it, there's no doubt in my mind that you won't enjoy Junji Ito's Frankenstein. I mean, it has all the bells and whistles for you. And look, it is very, very short. It's about 100-something pages. It's not really that long. It's not taxing at all. So you could definitely finish it in an hour or two. It's pretty easy. And it's really good quality stuff, top tier stuff. Now, I do want to mention there are other stories in this Junji Ito Frankenstein collection that don't really have anything to do with Frankenstein, but are just good short stories and are included with it as well that you should read too. Like Oshikiri and Boss Nan Nan. Thanks for watching. If you just can't get enough of me and want to show some love and support, please like this video. Also, if you want to see more manga recommendations just like this, please like this video, comment as well, telling me you want to see more, because I will be more than happy to do just that. I mean, I've really been digging the more shorter manga stories, the one-shots, because they're more my speed, to be honest. The longer manga really take a toll on me. So I definitely want to start reading more short form manga and, do some videos. If you guys like it, I will definitely include more, throughout. Have a great night, a great morning, a great day, wherever it is, wherever you are. And don't forget, Kokishin Amote Kudasai.